Let's hear Sean on this.
I need to introduce you to my friend Chris Beck. He used to work he was a SEAL, and then he worked for the Pentagon. He's basically, in a nutshell, a mad scientist, a brilliant mind. But he talks a lot about everything is frequency and vibration.
See, that's exactly the direction I would go. I think we're kind of in this phase right now where it's essentially trying to reverse engineer what these peoples of long ago were up to with all of this stuff.
Okay, now let's dive into plasma, a topic that might sound like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie, but is very much a part of our universe. Plasma isn't just something you find in blood or TVs. It's the fourth state of matter, and it's everywhere, from the sun to the stunning aurora borealis. What's fascinating is how plasma behaves when free from the bonds that hold together solids, liquids, and gases. When electrons and neutrons become disassociated, we get this vibrant, electrically charged state that can be shaped by magnetic fields. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Under the right conditions, plasma can organize itself into structures that look like something out of a cosmic blueprint. Imagine if we could harness this behavior. What could we do with a material that self-organizes in response to frequencies and vibrations? Well, Randall will tell you exactly that. The mind-blowing technology that actually exists today in the world but might be suppressed. It's a deep dive into how ancient knowledge paired with modern science could be unlocking extraordinary technologies that seem like magic to us. These technologies, which manipulate the fundamental principles of nature like plasma, could revolutionize everything from energy to environmental restoration. Now, let's listen to Randall Carlson as he unravels these hidden truths and offers us a glimpse into what might be one of the most transformative discoveries of our time.
The sun is plasma. Aurora borealis, the northern lights, is plasma. It's the fourth state of matter. It's what happens when the electrons and the neutrons become completely disassociated. Solid, liquid, gas, degrees of freedom between electrons and neutrons, right? Even in a gas, there's still bonds. But when you get to plasma, they completely break free. So now you have electrons, neutrons become ions, and because they're electrically charged, they can be influenced by magnetic fields. And they also have this tendency to self-organize under the right conditions. If you apply the right frequency, it's like they spontaneously organize into toroidal forms. And then what happens is that, if you look at a torus in cross-section, it looks like an infinity sign. Here's what you do. Visualize a sphere with a North Pole and a South Pole. And now let's say you collapse that sphere so that the North Pole and the South Pole meet at the equator. So now you've got this like indentation in the north and the south. What then happens is that you get this electron or ion or both stream starts spiraling down that funnel, and as it's spiraling down, it's increasing and increasing in rotational velocity. Now, in the northern hemisphere, say, it's going clockwise, and in the southern, it's going counterclockwise. And they meet at the equatorial plane. And that's where something really interesting happens that I don't understand. Something happens there that's almost supernatural.
The inventor behind this revolutionary plasma technology, someone who found a profound connection with Randall's work, reached out to him after a presentation. This connection wasn't just fleeting. It led to a serious discussion about the implications of this technology, a topic Randall even brought up on the Joe Rogan show.
And it's all based upon the ancient numbers. And they're developing technologies right now, and they have been. I was recently contacted and given the go-ahead that I could talk. I've been sitting on this for 7 years without talking about it because they asked me not to talk about it until they had their patents in place and their licensing. That's all happened since last summer. So we're now free to talk about it. I'm going to lay this on Graham so he can look at it too, because I really want to get Graham's feedback on this.
I mean, would it be fair to say that there's an element of a rediscovery of a lost technology from the past?
And so through this technology, they're able to move stones or cut stones or all the above?
All the above.
And even transport them?
Yes.
Whoa, what is all this?
For about 7 years, Randall was in discussions with this inventor, piecing together a puzzle that many of us would find hard to believe. Now, he's ready to share these insights with the world. Interestingly, even major corporations like Mazda are peeking over the fence, intrigued by the potential of this technology. Let's hear from Randall himself on how it all unfolded. Pay close attention when he mentions those ratios. I'm sure you'll make the connection.
When he first called me, he said, I've been working on this plasma energy and it's based on frequencies, and these frequencies are connected to these ancient sacred numbers. And he said, I watched a podcast and it was you giving a lecture and you were talking about ancient numbers, and the numbers you were mentioning were exactly the numbers that I found made this technology work. For example, the ratios of the spheres have to be in the ratio 4 to 3 to 2. And if they weren't in those proper ratios, you didn't get the effect.
Randall introduces an intriguing element to the discussion: the significance of certain numbers that appear repeatedly in ancient cultures, sacred geometry, and natural frequencies. These numbers, such as the one often referred to in esoteric circles, are believed to hold the key to understanding the universe's very fabric. Throughout history, these special numerical sequences have been revered not just for their mathematical beauty, but for their alleged ability to influence the physical and spiritual realms. For instance, these numbers are found in the architectural dimensions of ancient structures and in the tuning of musical instruments believed to resonate with natural energies. Randall's exploration isn't just an academic exercise, it's about practical application. He reveals that the effectiveness of the plasma technology he has been studying hinges on these precise ratios and frequencies. His discussion brings a scientific rigor to what might otherwise seem like mystical assertions, connecting these ancient numerical concepts to groundbreaking contemporary technologies. But what exactly is this technology? Randall isn't just talking theories. He has concrete evidence. He even shares photographs of a functioning installation outside of London, proving the technology works. This isn't a prototype or a concept. It's a real, operational example of how ancient numerical knowledge can be applied to modern energy solutions.
I was reluctant to talk about it. You know, I went on Rogan's show with Graham Hancock a year ago last November, and I had already been in contact with Malcolm, one of the preeminent inventors and developers of technological applications of plasmas. I hadn't decided yet whether he was for real or not, but I'd been talking to him distance for over 7 years, and his story never changed. Right? And I took careful note of that, and I began looking at some of the things that he claimed as sources, and they all checked out. Going back to Nikola Tesla, right? Coming up through like half a dozen other researchers that had worked in some capacity trying to develop technologies around this plasma energy, like learning how to contain plasma and then extract energy from it. He's been developing these technologies using plasma, and it's frequency based. At this point, I already knew that the thunderstorm generator, and I'll show you pictures of one now that's been retrofitted on a 300 kilowatt generator on a substation outside of London. And they're testing the damn thing, and it works. It does what it's predicted to do, right? I mentioned that he was on an island where he'd gone because there had actually been a couple of attempts on his life.
Time and again, revolutionary technologies that could reshape our world face significant resistance, not just from skeptics, but from powerful corporate and media interests. This plasma technology, discussed by Randall Carlson, is a prime example, but it's far from the only one. Historically, numerous inventions from alternative energy sources to medical breakthroughs have languished in obscurity or been actively suppressed. Consider the case of Nikola Tesla, whose pioneering work in wireless energy transmission was decades ahead of its time, yet struggled to receive the funding and support it deserved. Or the story of Stanley Meyer, who claimed to have developed a water-powered car engine, only to be met with lawsuits and claims of pseudoscience. These stories share a common theme: the challenge of introducing technologies that disrupt established industries. The media often plays a pivotal role, not just by ignoring these innovations, but occasionally mocking them, shaping public perception to view them as impractical or implausible. This derision can effectively sideline even the most promising advancements. The inventor of the plasma technology we're discussing chose to open source his work, hoping to sidestep these barriers. By making his designs and data publicly available, he aimed to protect his invention from being buried by the interests of those who stand to lose from its success. It's a bold move, reflective of the struggles many innovators face in bringing transformative ideas to the forefront. But now, it seems the tide may be turning. Mazda has shown interest in this plasma technology, as Randall mentioned. This could be a sign that the mainstream is finally ready to embrace such innovative solutions, or it might be an outlier in an otherwise cautious industry. Will this interest from a major automotive manufacturer pave the way for broader acceptance and integration of this technology?